Wow.
Oh.
Good awareness there.
Another sweep. Somebody screamed set play. Oh, it's not
everything's hitting.
Oh,
what is the throw? Again.
And it worked this time.
That was just a normal throw.
Oh, it on the ground.
Oh my God.
Wow. Wow.
Oh my God.
Wow. That was crazy.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Born Free here. We are at Red Bull Conquest in Washington DC, and I am here with Ling. How the hell are you?
I'm pretty good. The tournament's over, so I'm just glad I get to relax. So I'm pretty tired actually. So
yeah, I mean it's a big old weekend, a lot going on, a lot of energy. You know, tired, definitely a tiring weekend. Let me ask you, what do you think of this concept, this sort of innovation, I suppose, like bringing these 3 games together in one tournament?
I actually think it's pretty interesting. I haven't seen a tournament where it's like you have a team from a different game and you guys both compete and try to get points. I think it's an interesting concept, and I really hope they do more of something like this in the future.
Now, let's talk about you. First thing that somebody told me immediately, right, when I was doing my research was like, yeah, he was known as an online trash talker, and then one day, like, he turned up and proved that he was, you know, kind of backed up his words. Is that true?
It's more like I was just an online player, and I guess since I play UYU, she's kind of like a troll character, so people think I'm a troll. So that's where that comes from. But primarily, I played online all the way up until like the end of Tag 2, and then I decided to go to a tournament, and I guess people recognized me from online, and I did sort of decent there. So yeah.
You did sort of decent? Did you win?
No, I ended up with 9th place,
okay.
But I guess I made some upsets beating players like Speed Kicks. Who else did I play? I think I played like Majin. So I played a lot of, like, I guess, notable players.
Notable players. How was, I mean, that's actually pretty amazing. When I think about it, I feel like that's pretty amazing to go from online to offline. And if people haven't done it, I know a number of you have, but if you haven't, it's not the same as sitting at home in, you know, with no distractions in your underpants. Like, you know, it's totally different. Can you talk a little bit about that transition? Did it feel natural for you, or was it hard? Like,
so my first tournament, I was really nervous, especially coming from online. I just watched everyone do tournaments, and then I would see everyone that I watched on YouTube, like, in person, and so I was kind of nervous. I was like, I hope I don't like mess up combos and stuff. But once you're actually in game, all the nerves go away, and I guess I get a little bit more comfortable. But as I do more tournaments, I'm slowly getting rid of all the nerves. So it's just experience and stuff.
So for you, it's still a process. It's still an ongoing process.
Yes. Well, compared to, like, you know, everyone currently in Tekken 7 who are all like veterans of like older games, I feel like I'm still catching up on tournament experience, but it's a work in progress, I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of the players that I speak to about pressure and tournament pressure and all that stuff, that is the one thing they say is, you know, one of the things they say is breathe. Another thing they say is drink water. But the other thing they say is kind of just comes with experience. Like, it's not necessarily going to happen overnight.
Yeah. Exactly. If you, a big thing is, like, my first tournament, I wasn't drinking water, so by the end, once I was knocked out, I realized I was dehydrated, and that can play a big role in, like, you losing your game or not focusing. So there's some things that come with tournament that, you know, they don't tell you about. Right. So it just comes with experience.
So, I mean, having said all of that, you've done some pretty amazing things. Now, my understanding is that you were the highest placed US player at the Tekken World Tour Championship Finals. Sorry, that's the championship and finals is kind of the same thing, but in 2015, I think. What was the story there? Was that why was that such a good year for you?
So I think there were a qualifying tournament in San Francisco, and I think Jimmy J Tran ended up winning, and so they took the top 3 of that tournament and they were sent to the finals in Japan. And so Jimmy won, Anakin got second, and then I ended up getting 3rd place. So once we ended up in Japan, I guess the American players, Jimmy or Anakin, they didn't get as far, and I think I made it slightly farther than them. So I feel like playing against international players is like my strong suit. But
really?
yeah, I really like playing against different styles. A lot of them aren't used to my gameplay, so I feel like I have the upper hand when I play against different people.
So, all right, let's talk a little bit about that then. So, I think maybe it sounds like maybe there's 2 things going on. You correct me if I'm wrong. One is maybe you get pretty excited about the prospect of playing these foreign players, and it's a challenge for you, maybe. I don't know, but it sounds like that. And then the second thing is your play style. Talk to me about your play style. Why do you consider that to be very different to other people?
All right, so I'll go with my play style first. It's a little bit all over the place. I like to be, with my character Xiaoyu and Lei now, I'm always moving. I think like movement is really important in like 3D games and in Tekken especially. So with Xiaoyu, I'm always moving. I'm backflipping, front flips everywhere. And a lot of people don't understand it. I guess that's kind of why people think I'm a troll, is because I'm always doing something. But it feels natural and comfortable to me, so that's why I do it. And I think when I play people that aren't used to my play style, they don't know what to do. And I think that's why I usually come on top.
Okay, yeah, I must admit, whenever I see somebody moving around the screen a lot and doing just crazily moving around, I'm always like, what the hell is this guy doing? And it does get into my head a little bit, but I'm not a pro player, but like, yeah, I can imagine that kind of style would be a little off-putting.
Yeah, exactly.
So you just said that you are now playing Lei. So why are you now playing a bit Lei?
So in Tag 2, which was the game before this, my tag team was Ling Xiaoyu and Lei Wulong. They're both stance-heavy characters, and once I added Lei to my team, it just like naturally flowed. He's also the kind to be in different stances and moving around. He's always in drunken stance or like tiger. He has so many stances compared to Xiaoyu, but once they announced him in Tekken 7, I was like, it only feels right that I go back to him.
Okay, so now I have questions because, sorry, I misheard you. Now I know it's Lei Wulong. Okay, so now I have questions. One is, he's supposed to be like maybe one of the most technical characters in Tekken, right? Yeah. So is that come easy to you, or is that a challenge for you? What is it about him that you enjoy?
So Lei Wulong is definitely a hard character. It took me about a few games to get him down. So I've been like playing online since like Tekken 6, and so that was like for me when I was in middle school, high school. But I would always just play online. I started picking up Lei at the end of Tekken 6, and I didn't understand how to play him at all. So I only wanted to do one stance, but as a Lei player now, you have to utilize everything. Okay. And then so once Tekken 6 was over, Tag 2 came, and so it took me all of Tag 2 to figure him out. And then I think by then I mastered him, and so Tekken 7 is just me refining that.
Okay. So I also I've been reading a lot of Mike's Suiken. Is it Suiken? Suiken? I never know how to say his second name, Mike. I'm so sorry. But he was sort of disappointed with some nerfs in patch 2.02. Seemed to be like most things were bug fixes, but it seemed like there were some nerfs to Lei. Yeah. How do you feel about that?
They nerfed the big thing, which he had a launcher into an unblockable, which was kind of dumb, but okay. But still, it was nice. And then they nerfed some of his stance transitions, which kind of hurt him. But I think with the way I play, it doesn't affect me too much. Okay. But with players like Suiken, that's kind of how he plays, so I could see why he's disappointed with that.
Okay, all right. So you don't feel like it affects your style too much?
No, my play style is It's wild. I don't know if you guys were watching my Lei earlier. It's just constantly backing up, trying to bait out something, and I still need to work on it a little bit more, but I think I'm onto something.
So do you see yourself fully transitioning now to Lei?
I think I see myself playing both equally. Okay. If Xiaoyu has a rough time in a certain matchup, I'll play Lei, and then just like vice versa.
All right. Well, it's good to have two characters. Yes, that's for sure. Talk a little bit about before we get into some historical stuff and profiling you a little bit more. You stream, right?
Yes.
So talk to me about your stream because I understand it's quite popular. Like, what's your whole deal with streaming? Like, what's your vibe? What do you want to achieve with it? Like,
so I've been wanting to stream for a while now. Up until I got sponsored with UYU, they helped out with setting up my stream and all the equipment and stuff. And so I started streaming like this year. I mainly stream Tekken 7, but when I'm trying to take a break, I play like other games like League of Legends or Dragon Ball. But I'm just trying to I guess grow like my audience more and just, have fun. And I'm always playing video games, so why not just stream it?
So when you play Tekken, are you in a tutorial kind of, like, how do you treat the people who are watching? Do you feel like you're trying to show them something, or do you feel like you're joking around? Like, what's the vibe?
I guess my vibe is more like just chilling and just watching some gameplay. I feel like I'm not the best teacher, and I think the best way to learn is just by watching. And so I'll interact with the chat if they have questions about like why I do something, which I think is really important because I watch some gameplay and some players, they don't interact too much or like explain why they do something. But I think if you explain why you do something, it'll give players a great idea of why and how to approach it. Yeah.
Now, what is your actual gamer tag? Because like I've got peeling, and then I've got God peeling, then I've got super peeling. Like, what's the deal?
So in Tekken Tag 2, my rank was a Tekken God, so I just shortened my Twitter handle to TK God, which is Tekken God Peeling. But it's just Peeling. It's a shortened for Princess Ling, which was like my online handle back then, but now it's just Peeling. So.
What's the story behind that?
Yes, the story. I played someone online, and their name was Princess Asuka, which is another character in Tekken, and I was like, oh, I play a girl character, and so I put Princess Ling. And so it kind of just stuck. It wasn't supposed to be that way, but it just happened. So now I'm Princess, or Peeling now.
Peeling,
yeah.
Peeling. That's awesome. Now, so when did you first start playing fighting games? What was your first fighting game? And then when did you start getting serious?
First fighting game, I want to say Tekken, only because I remember growing up, I played Tekken like pretty much my whole life, but just for fun. I started getting serious in Tekken in, like, I guess Tekken 6, which was like 2000, I want to say 10 or something. But like, I only played online, so I was just an online warrior, and just I really cared about rank. And yeah, I was like a rank, online warrior. And so like I was really competitive in that aspect. And so then I guess once Tag 2 came out, I did the same thing, but I decided to go to a tournament, and from there, that's how all this started.
Got it. So how did you know about tournaments and stuff? How did you find out?
I guess since I was really competitive, I would always watch videos on YouTube. Be it like tournament videos or like arcade play, but I guess I seen tournaments and I watched. I was like, that was pretty cool. I really remember like Knee versus Just Frame James. I remember seeing that match, and I thought it'd be really dope to join a tournament. And I guess one of my online friends, we never met, but we knew we were close to each other, and we knew there was a tournament in town, or which was relatively close. And so we decided to meet up and go together. And so that's how that happened. Which was, the first tournament was Strong Style, by the way. Yeah.
Oh, it was a big tournament then.
Yes.
Yeah. And you came 9th, is that right?
Yeah, I got 9th place at that tournament.
That's dope. I mean, for your first tournament, that's wild. What do you think's been? I mean, since then, what do you think has been your proudest moment? Was it the Tekken Finals, or was it something else? Was it even? Was it beating somebody? Like, proudest moment could be anything.
There's a lot. There's a lot. I think making the first Tekken World Tour Finals was a big moment, and it was just like it was a big realization that I could actually keep getting better. I didn't think I'd actually go to Japan and play against some of the best, but it happened, and then from there, there's just been so many other great moments.
All right, talking of great moments, this is a question I've been throwing in for a lot of people, just because I think it's really interesting. I often ask about favorite players, but now I've been asking about favorite matches. So, is there a match out there on the internet that does not involve you, where you go, that's a freaking classic, everyone needs to see that?
A classic, huh? I think this is actually fairly recent match. It was against Saint versus Shadow. I think Shadow is a really good player, but he ended up beating Saint during Strong Style of this year, so 2018, and it was a really close match. But Shadow beat him and ended up, I think, sending him to losers or something. But it was a really close match, and I think from there people started really looking out for him. So I think people should really check that match out.
That's the match to check out, people. All right, so let's talk about the game. How do you feel about because you've obviously told me that you've played a few iterations of the game, right? How do you feel about Tekken 7? What do you like? And what are your hopes for it in terms of, is there anything you want to change in the future?
I hope they add on more to Tekken 7, similar to Street Fighter 5. I like the way how Street Fighter 5 has different stages, costumes, and characters. I think if Tekken 7 can maybe implement some of that, I think it'll do really well. Primarily, I think it needs more stages. I get kind of tired of the same stages, but more characters would be great to see as well.
More characters, yeah, and of course they did announce more characters. Like you got Lei, you got Anna, you got Neegan. What was your response to Neegan?
So I kind of recorded my response on Twitter, but I only posted the Lei part because I was so excited. But when they showed the Neegan part, I was kind of confused. I thought it was just I don't know, a crossover with just clothing brand or something. But he ended up being in the game, so I'm not too sure how that's gonna work. But I'm interested to see it.
Do you watch Walking Dead?
On and off. I'm kind of behind a few seasons, but I get what it's about.
Okay, cool. What do you think about crossover characters in general? Because I've had some OGs sort of complaining, oh, they bring in new mechanics that aren't Tekken, and that annoys me. And then, but on the same time, you have people who are more, let's say, marketing savvy, who are like, actually, this is really good for the game. Yeah, when Akuma came in, I took a look. What's your feeling?
I actually agree with that. It's really good for the game, and it makes people want to look at it that haven't really been interested. I think it just makes it more fun. It can be annoying when you're dealing with, for Tekken, for example, when you're dealing with non-Tekken characters like 2D fighter like Akuma or Geese Howard. It's kind of different. It makes you approach the game differently. But it's also fun because you see some of your favorite characters that you wouldn't think would be in this game, and they just kind of show up.
Fair enough. Now, the balance patch, right? 2.0, and then there was 2.1, 2.2, and 2.2 affected Lei, but they were mainly bug fixes, right? So the balance patch 2.0, how did you feel? Do you think that's a good patch?
2.0.
It was the main big patch. When Lei and Anna came out.
Oh, when they came out. Okay. That was the one.
And then they added the wall bounce.
Yeah. I think that patch made Tekken 7 feel more new. They added wall bounces. They changed the properties of some moves. I think Tekken needed that patch. It was really important and made the game feel fresh.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. That's what a lot of people have been saying. So, you know, because I hear so many people always bitching about patches, and it's been nice to hear that people are pretty happy with the balance patch on Tekken. So we talked a little bit about your character and Lei and all that sort of stuff. Let's talk about... Oh, we talked about a few of these things as well. Let's talk about America, US, right? How do you feel about the US scene at the moment? Do you think it's stronger now? Do you think there's... I mean, where are we right now? I say we, I've been here for 12 years, but like, where are we right now in terms of, you know, globally?
I think the more time America has with the game, the better everyone's getting. You see players like making upsets pretty much every tournament now, and it's becoming more common. I think we're getting there, but I think, you know, Korea and the other Asian countries are still like up there, but I think we're closing the gap now.
Closing the gap. Okay, that makes sense. All right. So current competition, who do you feel like, in terms of players, offers you the biggest challenge right now?
It seems like every tournament I'm going against Joey Fury or Shadow. It's kind of annoying. My matches with Shadow are always close, and then he's actually a really good Jack player. I think if I had the opportunity to play him this tournament with Lei, I think I could do some damage. I like the Lei into Jack matchup way more than Ling Xiaoyu.
Got it. Do you have like a favorite player at the moment to watch, and why, or somebody who inspires you?
Outside of Tekken?
It can be any fighting game, or it can be whatever you want.
So my favorite player right now is Sonic Fox. I've been a fan of his for kind of a while now. I remember like when I started going to Tag 2 tournaments, like they were like East Coast tournaments, so Big E tournaments, like NEC and stuff like that. I remember I would always be rooting for Sonic Fox, but the crowd was rooting for, like, I don't know, Scar or someone. But he's one of my favorite players. I think he's doing so much work right now for fighting games, and it's just inspiring to see like a player like him. If he could do it, I can do it. So,
you know, it's funny because when I look at Sonic Fox, I just go, that guy sees the Matrix, and if he can do it, I can't do it. But that's how I think about it. But I think he's definitely a very inspirational player, that's for sure. On that, do you play other fighting games?
Recently I've been playing Dragon Ball, but not many other fighting games. I play a lot of League of Legends, which is a bad habit.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Would you ever consider taking League seriously, or Dragon Ball seriously, or another fighting game seriously?
I wish I could take League seriously, but that game requires so much time, and I'm like, if I put all my Tekken time into League, maybe, but the damage is done, so just Tekken for now.
Tekken for life, or Tekken for now. So Tekken for now, a lot of people out there really want to understand what it takes to be a sponsored player, right? Or at least somebody who's winning, right? So what do you do in terms of training? Like, can you break that down?
So for training, I feel like in Tekken 7, once you do the hardcore training, the rest is just like, I guess, extra. I trained once, or not once, for like, I guess, a certain amount of time, which was like maybe like 2 months or 3 months. I went over the whole character's move list, I guess for like all the characters, and I figured out how to punish and proper side steps and all that. I think if you don't do that, or if you don't like practice properly, then you kind of find yourself just like, oh, I know how to play, but I'm not winning. So
okay, so you definitely, break down you definitely. But it's Jimmy Tran just reset Joe Fury. This is Red Bull Conquest. They're nearly ending. Exciting grand finals here right now. So we're sort of doing this and keeping an eye on that. So you spent a month and you went through every single character and you figured out every single punish, and somehow you committed that to either muscle memory or to memory, and then incorporated that into your game.
Yeah, I feel like if you don't properly go over the characters, then you're not going to understand how to deal with it. You have to, well, for me, I take my character and then I practice it against the whole cast, and then I also pick up different characters and figure out the ins and outs of how they play.
Wow. Okay, so you definitely do your homework. Now, would you just, people often say in Tekken you're either field-based or science-based. Like, what would you describe that as? That sounds like quite sciencey.
So the funny thing is, I was field-based for the longest. My first tournament, I actually didn't know frame data or any of that. My friend ended up teaching me afterwards, and so I guess I'm still more field-based, but now knowing frame data and like how to properly punish, I think that kind of adds on to what I already know.
Okay. All right, so it's sort of like a mix of the two things, which is, I don't know, maybe the perfect player. I have no idea, but we'll see how that plays out. One of the things that I wanted to ask you, just to, I hate to harp on, but like I like people to know about training. Do you incorporate watching your own replays? Do you incorporate watching other people's matches? Like, what other aspects of the training do you do?
So for one, I really hate watching my matches where I lose. I know you're supposed to rewatch your matches, but when I watch it, I cringe and I know what I did wrong. But I don't like watching my matches back. I watch the ones where I win, and I also watch other players. So I see how they play, and then I think, oh, that's how you deal with that. But I guess the next step for me is watching my losing matches and going over that, which I will do. I will do that.
Gotcha. What do you think is the biggest sacrifice? Do you feel like you've made sacrifices to do what you're doing now?
Some sacrifices. I guess when I do go out to certain tournaments, sometimes I'll take school days off, or I'll miss, like, I don't know, maybe like a cousin's birthday. But
what are you doing at school?
I'm majoring in social science right now. Okay. And so this semester I'm actually taking online classes, so it's a little bit easier. I actually have a midterm to do later tonight, so.
Oh wow, that's some hard work right there. That's some discipline. So if you don't end up being like a fighting game pro player, what do you intend to do with that degree?
I'm still figuring it out. It's kind of like a placeholder for me, but video games or like fighting games, this is what I would like to do for, you know, for a living.
Absolutely. Now, outside of, and we're going to wrap up soon because you probably have to go on stage for the top 8 for this. But outside, just to get a window for people out there who follow you, who would like to follow you, or are interested in this interview, outside of video games, what other stuff are you interested in?
I guess I'm not too much. I have a few hobbies. Like I learn languages. I like to learn languages. I haven't mastered any, but I'm learning like Japanese, Arabic, Spanish.
There's a lot. Why are you doing so many at the same time?
It's just whatever intrigues me at the time. I take breaks for some reason, and then I have to relearn it. So I just think languages are pretty interesting, and I think anyone who could speak multiple languages are so amazing. But I also play piano, and I guess just hang out with friends.
Oh, you play piano as well? There's always there's so many players play musical instruments. It's like a huge link there. Yeah. I've talked about this a million times, but like in regards to like repetition and rhythm and all that sort of stuff. Wow, that's fantastic. bigger question. This is kind of like the last big question. Do you have like a quote or a mantra that you live your life by? Like, do you have like a? It doesn't have to be a specific quote, but like when you're down, are there things that you think about, or what do you think life's about?
Usually when I'm down, I just think that I guess it could be worse. You know, I think of like whatever I'm going through at the moment. It's not as big as other things. So I just like that keeps me up in a way, and I just try to get over what I'm going through.
And how do you sort of going further than that? Like, how do you push yourself into a confident, winning mindset in something like Tekken, where so many people are playing it all over the world?
So I find myself, I just stop worrying. I think of, okay, if I lose and whatever, if I win, better. But like, a lot of times I just stop worrying about it and I just do my thing. That's all I do.
Sounds good to me. All right. Well, is there anything that you want to say to your followers out there, people who are supporting you?
Thank you so much for the followers and the support that I get. It's not too much, but it's something. I like to, at certain tournaments, I like to just look at their words, and it encourages me to do better, despite all the hate. So thank you so much.
Do you have any advice for streamers? This is for me, by the way.
For streamers, I guess it's just all about consistency, really. I'm kind of bad for that, only because I take breaks for tournaments and I can't stream over the weekend. But if you keep a consistent schedule, you'll have a few loyal followers and subscribers, and it's always nice once you come back to streaming and you see them there and they're still supporting you. It feels great. Alrighty,
consistency, something I'm not very good at, but if you're looking to become a good streamer, then consistency is the way forward. Okay, so this is ending soon. You probably have to hit the top 8.
Yeah, top 8.
I mean, go stand on stage, get your medal and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Congratulations on this weekend, and thank you so much for the interview.
Thank you.
And we're going to say goodbye to these guys. See you guys.
Bye.